Well, Jaimy, hi, I'm Kaitlin. It's good to finally meet you through the air.
Hi, Caitlin.
How is it going? I've heard wonderful things about you. I'm excited to finally hear what you have to say.
Okay, very cool.
What's some of the things that you've been talking about this week?
Holiday gift giving has been
Oh,
like a major topic lately.
yep.
The thing about holiday when you're newly dating, there's always this issue about what are you supposed to get them? Is there a time frame? Like, if we've been dating a month, am I supposed to get you a gift at this point? And, it doesn't come down to like time or what they want or what a good gift would be. It comes down to communicating if you have the same sort of beliefs about gift giving, because there's two schools of thought, and I want to know which you both agree on. Either you think that these holidays are a big sort of Hallmark hoax where you're just sort of forced to spend money and you don't really care that much about the Hallmark gifts, or you're waiting for the person you're newly dating to get you a gift because they're going through some sort of a test to see how creative they are and how much they like you, and it has so much more meaning to you. But what happens is if one of you thinks it's a Hallmark holiday and doesn't really care about it, and the other one thinks it's this meaningful emotional movement, then you're going to conflict, and it's
Oh,
going to
yeah.
be a
Oh,
nightmare.
that's a relationship disaster, no?
It is.
That is
And
such an awkward time too. I mean, I personally was dating, oh man, about a few months, to the man I'm with now, and he was so spoiled me rotten, and I was like, oh, I hope I live up to his gift giving
Expectations.
expectations.
Mm.
It worked out okay though. We're still together.
I've always
worked
thought
out okay.
Yeah.
I've always thought that, for the first few months of dating, you want to tread lightly, because if you're extravagant in your gift giving at first, man, you're setting yourself up for some problems later on.
As in, how can you top that?
Right.
You set the tone too soon. She gets
Exactly.
spoiled. Her expectations are high.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then
I'll tell you something. We don't exchange gifts. And I'm just not into it. My first husband was like over the top with gifts, and he would spend lots of money on really cool things. And I was always thinking, why would he spend all that money? Like, we don't need this. And that is really what I genuinely felt. Our marriage was empty, but the gifts were huge. And then I
Mm.
met Eric, where gift giving is really low on his priority list.
yep.
But every day I know that he's into me. Like, there's no doubt in my mind. And it's so much more valuable to me to just know where we stand ongoing than, and there's also guilt gifts, those gifts that you get
Oh, those are
because
the worst.
he's cheating on you or he lied to you or you fought, and he shows up with flowers, and it sort of mends things for a moment because you feel special. Then you go right back into that routine of feeling lonely.
Yeah. I much prefer and I'm so lucky that my man spoils me with this as well. Just a note like, bye, I'm going to work. Hope you're having a good day. Just
I know.
the
Isn't
little
it
things are
amazing?
like washing the dish that I left in the sink this morning. I'm like, thank you. I didn't want to come home to that.
I'm exactly like you are. Clean up the house for me would be like the greatest thing in the world. Cook
I,
dinner. But also, you bring up a great point about the compliments. Like, there are so many times where you'll think something nice, like, wow, you look great in that outfit, or I'm so happy you came home early, it's great to see you, and you don't verbalize it. So, forget the expensive gifts. Be able to tell what you're really feeling and express your emotions, and you're going to get a lot more mileage out of that.
Oh, I completely agree. And I just want to remind everyone that's listening that we are talking to the date doctor, Jaimy Blazynski, excuse me. And you can check out her website at got5minutes.com. She has a book, Crush, at amazon.com. You have a podcast Sunday nights at 8:30 at got5minutes.com. What else have you got for us, Jaimy?
We have a huge party coming up Friday night. It's our
Ooh.
holiday singles bash, and it is here in Connecticut in West Hartford. It's a fundraiser, and we got a DJ and games and contests and everything else. And, a lot of people come to this, and they come alone. They don't come in groups. They don't come with a friend. They come alone. So they need to, figure out, how do you work the room? How do you meet people? How do you walk up and socialize to people? It can be kind of a nerve-wracking
Oh,
experience.
God, it sounds terrifying.
Drink heavily.
Yeah, I would be drinking a lot of wine if I was at one of those. But that seems like they would have a lot more productive outcome if they went alone, and rather than having their safe haven of like group of friends to stick with.
Yeah, you don't need your
Yeah,
wing
it's less
people.
yeah, it's definitely less intimidating when you're alone than when you have a group of friends. But a couple tips I always say, if you're kind of shy and nervous, come early. Like entering a crowded room, I say the same thing. I have 2 kids. When we would go to a birthday party, I would be there early so that they didn't have to enter a crowded room if they were a little shy or didn't know anybody. Be one of the first people instead of the last people in.
That's great advice.
Another thing, another big suggestion, if you came alone and you're a girl, start talking to a girl. Sort of find your wing woman, and same with a guy. Find your wingman that night. Find somebody to hang out with, because it's much easier if there's 2 of you. If you see 2 girls that found each other, then you can approach, and then there's 4 of you talking, and it's less awkward when it's just a one-on-one guy and girl.
That's so cool. I love that, going early. I mean, you rather than walking into the stuff that's already happening, you can be the one in all the action and be the one. Yeah, you're the happening one, and you're not the one walking and being like, what is everyone talking about?
It's so much easier to just be there. And then the other tip that I always say is wear a conversation piece. It's the holidays. Like, people wear crazy jewelry and hats and scarves and accessories. Wear something funky and cool, because it's so much easier for someone to walk up to you and go, wow, I love that hat. Like, I have this thing for cowboys. If I ever see a guy in a cowboy hat, I am going to talk to him. It doesn't matter what he's doing or what he looks like.
I'm breaking out the black hat.
Exactly.
Dave's going to have a cowboy hat on every time we do a show now. I'm envisioning this.
Look, it's the Marlboro Man.
I mean, you want to be unique. You want to stand out. You're on the market. There's going to be like 75 people at this party.
Wow.
You want to be able to stand out and be the one that they remember. Oh, she was the girl in that cool hat.
Absolutely.
And then you leave an impression.
And how do people get into this, and how can they be involved?
You can go to got5minutes.com and register. Unfortunately, I am almost sold out. I cannot fit another woman in the crowd because it is packed, and I'm gonna squeeze about 6 more guys in there.
All right, guys, get out there.
Yeah, it's such a great group, and it really is. People get dressed up. We have so many funny dating games and contests and prizes and giveaways, and it's just one big party. So if you want to find someone before the holidays, this is our last event before the holidays.
Hey, Jaimy, got a question for you. Going back to the gift-giving stuff, have you ever run into a situation where there's competitive gift-giving? Like,
where you try to one-up each other?
Yeah.
You know where I see that the most is the divorced parents trying to one-up each other
with the kids.
I hate that. No, I'm thinking of, like, the dating couple, he gets her something nice. She turns around and gets him something a little bit nicer. So the next time around, he gets something nicer.
It would seem that there's some other deep-seated stuff going on there. Am I making that up, Jaimy, or is that? Seems like if that's
if they're trying to compete, I think that you gotta just appreciate what you get, and if you feel like you have to do better, there's givers and takers in this world, and sometimes when a giver is dating a giver, they feel better giving. It feels more comfortable to them to give than receive. So whenever they give, it sort of pushes their button that I've got to give more, and that other person is feeling the same way, and it's just a cycle. It's not necessarily a negative thing,
right.
But you got to work on that. The people that feel guilty if they're not giving and have trouble just taking, you got to be able to take and feel great and know you deserve it, and it'll be a much healthier situation.
I think you hit it on the head.
I go to my husband's family for Christmas, and they do it different than I do. They're really big. It takes 4 hours for everybody to open their gift. Everyone has to do it one at a time and say, "Oh, thank you. How did you know?" And it was just like this ongoing thing. And they all buy me gifts. And I don't like the shopping. I don't like the crowds. I don't like parking. It's just not my thing. So every year I just make them something. I like to do crafts that's meaningful to me. And I think if they're thinking, "Oh, she's cheap. All she did was make us a terracotta vase with candy in it," and I'll paint it and make it cute. If they don't appreciate it, I don't care, because I'm not going to go out. I laugh when people say, "Oh, what do you want for Christmas?" "I'll take a Home Depot gift card." Really? So then, someone has to drive, park, walk through the crowd to buy you a card that you could have just bought yourself. I don't get it. I think it's for a lot of people, it loses its meaning when you get such specific items of a gift card that you want.
Yep.
Yeah, that's tough. And I love that the difference in the family. I mean, that's got to be such a big thing. I know this year for relationships, it was our first time deciding whose house we're going to, and trying to get in that, okay, how does your family do gifts? And well, my family does it this way. And that's got to be such a, along with gift giving to each other, that's such a new adjustment for couples that have maybe only been together for, this might be their first holiday season. Do you see that a lot? Or
It's been 10 for us, and it's always an issue.
it's always 10 years later. Oh no, that's not what I needed to hear.
Well, I got to tell you, last year Eric got sick, and we stopped at like a fast food place on the ride down, and I don't eat that food, but he did, and he had a stomach bug. So I'm sitting there by myself with Eric's whole family at 7 o'clock in the morning watching, and I'm like calculating. I'm like, all right, if each kid opens one gift a minute, we should be done by 10:15. And I'm like, oh my God, open the thing, and I'm going nuts. And I'm like, I felt bad. I appreciate it. I think they're all very cute and sweet and thoughtful, but that whole thing, that whole scene is just not something I've ever done. So
that's
I have to
great.
adjust and be respectful because
Culture
they're just family,
shock.
and I love
Yep.
them.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good wife that you still go and do it though, and put a smile on, I'm sure, in the meantime.
It's definitely a potential stressor for a newer relationship, though. I mean, you're talking with 10 years experience, you're able to basically handle the husband who's sick, handle the kids who are taking way too long to open the presents. I mean, when it's your first big holiday together, whoosh, you better have a lot of Old Spice.
At that point, you're trying so hard to impress each other that you're not going to be like, Jesus, your family is so annoying. You know what I mean? You're not going to share that. You sort of hold those feelings and roll with it. And a lot of times you're focused on them liking you, and I hope his parents like me, and I hope his sister's a good guy. You're just stuck in that place, which is kind of a tough place to be. But
it's tough. I'm glad that part's over.
I remember the first Christmas with my future in-laws, and I felt like I was not Henny Youngman, but we're the boys of chorus. We hope you like your show. And at one point, my soon-to-be wife basically beat me over the head, said, you don't have to do this.
Yeah.
You can relax. It's okay. They're not going to fight.
Well, it certainly helps when they're a welcoming family. It takes a little of the pressure off. But I just did my first Thanksgiving, and I've done an Easter, and I've met most of the family, but it was you still have that I'm just nodding and agreeing with all of you because please like me.
Oh, I'm sure they love you. I'm sure they do.
Well, I'm glad it's off. It's done. It's over. Now take me. You're stuck with me now. So.
You got Christmas, babe.
That's at my house. Tables will turn.
Uh-oh. Hey, so you've got the holiday party coming up on this Friday. What else have you got coming?
We won't be dating until January 4th after that. We're just, this holiday's taken a lot out of us. And then everyone's busy at Christmas time. So we take a couple weeks off every year around the holidays, and we'll be back up January 4th every week again, speed dating.
Awesome.
That's
awesome.
excellent.
So we're still doing the podcast. We'll still be live on Sunday nights.
Good.
Perfect. So listen to Jaimy Blazynski on her podcast Sunday nights at 8:30 at got5minutes.com. Check out her website, got5minutes.com, and her new, or is it a new book, Jaimy?
That's reasonably new.
Reasonably new.
Summer.
Crush at, yeah, we'll give it our plug. You can check out her new book, Crush. Oh, I'm losing my mind. At Amazon.com. You can find it there. And we thank you so much, Jaimy, for coming and chatting with us. It's good to finally chat with you sort of in person. I've heard lots of great things, so.
Oh, thanks so much. We'll chat again.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
Take care, everybody.